A David and Goliath story from Division 2 in YouTube, and the truth will set you free. What would you do if you were in my shoes? Well, to answer that question, you got to know what shoes I'm in. So here it is. This is the evidence, and this is what happened. To start the story, I'm a content creator. Started about 4 months ago. And about 2.5 months ago, I came up with this idea of showcasing other content creators in a program called Top 13 Content Creators. Now, when I first started it, I approached people that I thought was going to be on the list. The first week or pre-week before year 2, I actually selected 13 people that I liked. I approached them and said, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Can I do it? Some were lukewarm, but nobody said no. Some were very excited. When I made the countdown, I used their icons or the banners like this with their permission through verbal communication. And I do have permission for all these icons that's appearing in this video now in writing. So the person in question, let's hear the actual thing that one of the 2 times he appeared on here. Here's the audio now.
EK Gaming is back and in 9th place this week. Now, EK had a lot of run-in with things that we subject to. If you know, you know. If you don't, well, check it out. But EK Gaming did 10 videos this week. No penalties, no nothing. Legitimate videos. And about Division 2, that's the other requirement. All the videos that are judged or get points have to be about Division 2. And he ended up with 17 points out of those 10 videos. So congratulations, EK1, for 9th place.
Now this was in week 9. This is a month and 1 week after we started the program. Again, the first 13 people, or 12 people, because one of them included myself. The first 12 people I approached, again, about 6 of them were already friends. I was fans, and they had no problem. The other 6 took a few inquiries to inquire. The problem is that the only way I knew how to contact these people was through their videos and their comments. And I would have pretty much a form saying, I would say, hey, really appreciate your work, want to do this, here it is, boom. And then once they said yes, and they appeared on the video, then I would send them, hey, congratulations, you were selected because all the videos you did this week, you made the top 13, and you are featured on this week. And I would say, here, check it out. Well, when I did this a few weeks later after talking to E1K Gaming through his page, he was like, okay, nothing. So I was told by a mutual friend that this kind of tactic sometimes is used by lesser people to try to promote their stuff and say, hey, look at me. That's actually wasn't my intention, but I could understand how that was. So a few weeks go by, and this was in week 3 or 4, and then very next week we had an issue with a glitch, and a few weeks later we had a ban. And during that time, I had got on one of his videos doing my review, seen the glitch, and I kind of jumped on it, made a comment that, hey, you know, we got to be more responsible. Did you not hear what Massive said? This is not the way to do things. Well, his response was an immediate, well, you're trying to promote your channel on my channel. Okay, that's not what I was trying to do. I'm trying to promote everybody. And yeah, it is my channel, and eventually it'll get hits. And if, of course, the whole series becomes popular, then I'll become popular for my hard work. But I put a lot of hard work into this. Each week, just doing the statistics on everything that's here. But he let it go, and everything seemed to be fine. He was mentioned a week later. He was actually mentioned in a section in my video, in my next week's video, and that he was a featured guest on You Know the Vibes, and that was discussed, and it was pleasant. In fact, it was that program that kind of told me to give him a better chance. He was featured on what you just heard on Division 9. That's the only other time he made the top 13 because he doesn't make as many videos a week as some of the other content creators to get in the top 13. Last week, there was a video that he did and a few people did on the Ubisoft terms of agreement. And during this time, I got on there and I said, again, not true. Do your research. This is mostly for a new game not yet released, Valhalla, where you make content and it's uploaded into the game. Then I put a link to the lawyer's page that explains the terms better. His reply has been deleted. Then I responded, here's a real lawyer speaking truthfully. The sky is not falling. People, stop listening to such stuff. E1 is a better content creator and capable of better that half-baked, unreserved rubbish, which should have said than half-baked, unresearched rubbish. Afterwards, about an hour after this, he came back with a reply and basically and I said, hey, can we agree to disagree, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, well, you're just trying to promote your channel on my channel, and I'm going to do something about it. I'm like, do you not want to be part of that program anymore? And he didn't reply. In fact, he deleted those messages. As you see, the stream only ends at these two. He deleted all that. He deleted all his responses and he deleted everything else. But these responses are still there as of today. So I was able to find them and give them a copy. The weeks down into unseen private, and was going to pull them off if something was actually said and redo them without him being in it. So there was no association between my channel and his, or his and mine. That termination was broken, even though he never said so. He never said cease and desist or nothing like that. He just, I could tell by his tone that he was upset. Now, if you look at this original statement that's been up there now as I've been talking, I didn't call him names. I said he's better than this, but I used the word half-baked, which was a trigger word, and that's all he seemed to see is the word half-baked, and it set him off. And it set off this chain of events. Later on that day, an hour or two later, I had to switch to another channel where I make a Bible class for our church, which is in COVID lockdown because our city is a smaller city, but we have an outbreak of COVID. So we can't be out and about, so we can't go to church. So I had about 4 hours to make my read the Bible verse and explain it and post it. And that's what I was about to do. And when I tried to do it, it said, no, you have this. So I went to my main page and I couldn't upload anything. And it said, you've been hit with a copyright strike. Here it is. And with this copyright strike, what happened is I couldn't do anything. Well, I didn't know. All I had to do was the first step, and then it opened back up my accounts. I didn't know that. I was in a panic because I was like, I got a deadline to meet, and this has nothing to do with that. The game is the game, but working at church, that's important to me. I followed the instructions. It said you can just wait 90 days, or the next step you have to do is take this class on copyrights. So I went down through the list. I clicked take the copyright class, and I take the class. I watch a short video, I answer a few questions, and it said you passed. I got every question right, and when I got back on the page, I was able to finish my upload and upload my video. The video was still struck for a copyright violation. So as I was going through my videos, about 2 months ago, I was testing building a intro to my videos, trying to make it a little bit more spicy, a little bit more unique, but I have some rudimentary um, stuff, and of course everything has to be shareware. I know this. I know the copyrights. I have to have permission, or I have to, have these free software. So I found um, all this free software of a bear and clawing his way out, and I used what was free use, the Ubisoft stuff from Division that's free use for all of us to use. At least it is at this time. And I collaged it together and made a unique thing that was mine, that was at the beginning, and I threw a sound effect on it. Well, it's 15 seconds long. And he tagged that video as inappropriate. Now, I wouldn't know that for sure that he tagged my video, but later on, he admitted through correspondence that he had tagged 2 of my videos. Well, one got nailed for copyrights and one got nailed for inappropriate. So if he tagged both videos, it was him that did it. So now I go to the next step. Next step says contact the other person and they can retract the claim against a copyright violation. So that's what I did. And we had a back and forth of 3 emails over a period of 48 hours, 72 hours, something like that. And the first one was me apologizing for any problem, and saying this is really important to me because I can't, I'm having trouble accessing. Now, when I first wrote that, I hadn't taken the school. I went down to the second step and I had started this and I had contacted him. Here's my first contact with him. As you can see, you talked about the channel and what was important to me, and that we basically, I hope we resolve this without any further action, me having to take it to court or anything like that. Well, he contacted me back, and you can see that here's the correspondence. I'll let you guys figure it out from here and highlight it. Now, I replied, and when I replied later on that night, of course he's in England, or I think he's in England. I got a response that claimed it was from his general manager. Now, in this correspondence, the general manager claims that he's the one that caused the strike. He's the one that made YouTube pull my video down. And I was of the understanding that when it's your channel, you have to do this. A third party can't do it. I can't have my girlfriend come in here and it's my account. I'm the one responsible for it. Now, maybe there's a power of attorney. Maybe, okay, we'll do that. That's for somebody else to figure out. So as we go down through more evidence, his general manager also claims that the real reason, he claims right here that I did no harm to his page. In fact, they even say there's no way I could do any harm to his page. As you can read that for yourself right here. In this, he further states that the reason why he is doing this is because I got on his page and I insulted him, and I continued to insult him, and I called him half-baked. Well, let's look at that. This is what I said. Back here where I showed you this before, this is the words that I said that started the whole thing. Now, I was trying to correct him enough to have him look and research his thing. Now, in the back of my mind, I was kind of thinking maybe being a journalist or being a content creator, when you find out the facts and see that maybe what you thought was the sky was falling wasn't really the sky falling, maybe you would do a follow up and say, hey, everything's okay. Check out this professional lawyer, which is what I did. That's exactly why I got on his page. I linked him to that lawyer and his website that made it seem everything was not as bad as it seemed. EK1 Gaming took a big offense, and then he started this revenge action. So what was okay before this, and what was understandably, did I have it in writing that I could use his likeness in my video? No, I didn't. I didn't have anybody's like that. It was all done. I approached each one person, hey, I got this going on. Would you like to be part of it? And everybody said yes. Nobody said no. It was free advertisement. It was me promoting what their work was doing. I was doing the work. They sat back and reaped the benefits. I was just trying to do something original and something that was promoting the industry and the people that were all I had already been watching and looking up to as a player when I first started playing this game a few years ago. So what I did is I did file a appeal on the inappropriate, and it took me about 48 hours. And I was surprised that Saturday afternoon I get a notice that that video has been deemed fine, and they allowed it to be back in my. And for it to get flagged inappropriate was something else. The other thing that was really bad at this point is when this got out of hand, is within a few hours of our interaction with each other about asking him to undo this, I started getting people hitting my site with, you know, sex things on my video at 20 seconds. I had 3 of them that I had to immediately withdraw because it seemed like somebody was trying to make it look like I had inappropriate stuff on my channel to get me banned. I can't know that it's him because the person that did it, the person that put that on, it was a brand new account, and when I clicked on his account, it was less than 24 hours old. I don't know, but the coincidence was kind of concerning. So through this process, I could wait 90 days and let it all go. I've done everything else. I've got my other video back. Everything's fine. The last 2 to 4 days have been bad. I haven't been making. I made like 1 or 2 videos. I usually try to make 2 or 3 a day if I can, especially on the weekends. And then it's been real depressing. And in a process, I confided in one person, and I showed him a bunch of stuff, and then I went to bed. This was Friday night. I go to bed like I think it was 7:30, 8 o'clock, because I had to drive. I had to go to my job at very early in the morning. So I get up, and I have an answer from Mr. EK1 Gaming. One of those people had taken it upon himself to go and confront him because he was on his page, and he was telling people that this young content creator was trying to make a name on him and he did a bad thing, so they got in a discussion. So the associate of mine threw out the what I had sent him. So he seen that he made it come down and he was bragging that he didn't do it. It was this. So he confronted him with evidence. Well, he did that. He was infuriated and sent me a text. Well, there's no way I'm giving you your video back. I was going to give you your video back this morning. Now, my question is, if you had a legitimate claim against a copyright violation, why would you ever consider relenting and giving it back? That's the question. So that's the evidence. We have a semi-verbal contract. It's not verbal because we weren't talking, but in writing. The problem is it was on his page. He's deleted those. So now I have no proof that I sent him, hey, want to be part of this? Yeah, whatever. You're just a little peon. He didn't quite say it that way, but it was like, yeah, you can't do nothing for me, but yeah, do whatever you need to do. I don't care. And then when I showed him it was done, he admits in his own email that he was like, oh, leave the kid alone. And maybe it'll turn out to be something. Maybe it'll help us out, which I hope it does. I hope that I made him better. I hope, that if this would have continued, that everybody that's featured on here would get more people going to these content creators and give them likes, liking their stuff, and saying, hey, you're a hardworking guy. I've seen you on top 13. You're one of those top 13 guys. So, yeah, I was kind of hoping that I would help his channel out. So, that was my thing. And in retrospect, maybe I would get a little respect. That's actually what I was looking for, not for hits. I'm not going to put all this work in to get hits. This is more out of a mutual thing that I thought I could do that nobody else was doing. Nobody else was collecting all this data and putting it together. And I don't think too many people want to put the work in to do something like this. That's my case. It's in the hands. I have filed a complete grievance, which means if I lose, I could lose my channel. I had to sign an affidavit that everything that I stated was true. To admit, which he does in his writing, or his manager admits that he knew about this and the reason why he did it had nothing to do with copyrightness. Having people come up and say, yeah, this has happened to me. I've had issues with him. He's tried to do this stuff with me. I wonder how many smaller content creators he's bullied right out off of doing content. This kind of thing has made me have to make a decision that even though everybody's told me how his entourage may work and come after me and start bombing my page and start making life tough on me, it's the right thing to do. So you, the audience, can see the evidence that I'm presenting. You can come up to your own conclusion. Now, could I have done something wrong, better? Yes, I could have did what I'm now doing and getting everything in writing at the beginning. I could have organized that a little bit better, but I wanted to get it out, and I believed that people were people of the word, and now I understand some of the legalese that we were arguing about in the first place. It's come back to now that I have to do that same thing with people that I already have a working relationship with and trust. To go up to somebody like NGN and ask him to sign his name and to agree to be on my program was embarrassing. But his professionalism was awesome. He even remembers when it first began. And he said, I subscribed to your channel way back then. And I'm a big fanboy of NGN. And that gave me a lot of energy to be able to go, somebody believes in me, and I wonder how many people started out and got bullied right out of making content. That's my story. It's a David and Goliath story for sure. Am I calling him a beast? By no stretch of the imagination am I. Am I trying to say I'm a king in the making? No way. It's just a euphemism for a small person starting out. What seems to be, to me, being picked on and bullied because I told him, you're better than this half baked stuff. You're better than this. Now, was that insulting what he did? Yes. I think the ethics behind it, um, again, I'm sure he doesn't see himself as being a journalist. I see us when we put it in writing and we talk about things and we say this is the truth and people are listening to us. We are journalists and we have a responsibility to be good journalists. This is Bear Buyers. Please give prayers for everybody involved that this falls peacefully on the wayside and as little people as hurt as possible. I hope and pray that everybody's healthy. I'm sorry for the drama. I did not want to be in this kind of drama. So thank you for hearing everything and hearing it out.